Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good, except I'm working on the weekend.
You love the weekend. I love the weekend. We all love the weekend. Guess who we're going to talk to on the program today?
Who's that?
I'm going to be visiting with a young lady by the name of Meg Sutton with H&R Block, and she's got some tax tips for each and every one of us. So we're going to learn some good stuff. It's a good idea to file your taxes, to make sure you take care of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't do that, they've got a special place for you, and they take you there. A car with flashing lights. Someone who suffers from anti-day phobia believes that somewhere, somehow, a duck or goose is constantly watching them.
Really?
Yeah, that is an actual thing. Anti-day phobia. Anti-day phobia. I don't know. Whatever it is. It's weird. And you're weird. If you think ducks and geese are constantly watching you, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be politically correct, but you're weird. It's just weird. All right, let's find out what we have going on this weekend. That is on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Let's take a look at the whole darn weekend. Saturday, March the 4th is National Day of Unplugging. It's Benjamin Harrison Day. He was a president, by the way. It is Courageous Follower Day. It is Holy Experiment Day. It is International Scrapbooking Day. Industry Day. March 4th, Do Something Day. Oh, I get it. March 4th, like go forward. That makes sense. March 4th. National Grammar Day and Old Inauguration Day.
I wonder when Gramper Day is.
Grammar and Gramper. I see what you did there. That is a John joke.
That's a John joke.
Toy Soldier Day. Free Dentistry Day. Iditarod Day. National Frozen Food Day, and Sock Monkey Day. I remember saying I like sock monkeys once, and then I had a bunch of people send me sock monkeys, so I'm not going to say that I like sock monkeys. Sunday, March the 5th, Daughters and Sons Day, Namesake Day, National Absinthe Day, whatever that is, and St. Piran's Day.
Okay.
A lot of stuff going on. Busy weekend. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Hey, it's John and Heidi. Join us for 80s in the Sand, a week-long 80s event this November 11th through the 18th in beautiful Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
Meet and listen to 80s bands like Loverboy, Starship, Howard Jones, and many more.
Plus, meet 80s icons from the movies like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. A father tagged along on his son's job interview, and guess what?
What?
The kid got the job. Is that normal? Well, it's not as strange as you might think. There is an emerging trend, and many firms consider parental involvement in the hiring process to be the best practice. Wouldn't that be weird?
I think that would be very weird.
I think so, too.
You should never take somebody with you for a job interview.
I took you with me one time, didn't I? Do you remember that?
Only because they insisted.
Yeah, they made me. They said, bring your wife.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone.
Do you seriously want me to bring her? She's going to blow it for me, I'm sure. I told her before.
You got the job.
Before we went in there, I'm like, don't say anything. I don't want nothing from the peanut gallery. I did get the job. They say the parents wouldn't necessarily answer the questions, but put more information on the table, end quote. This is from Northwestern Mutual, their field internship director. At a minimum, coach your kids, they say. A LinkedIn poll found that 2/3 of professionals wished their parents offered more guidance. Just consider how involved you want to be. It says if you're a helicopter type and the company seems tolerant, tag along. If not, then don't. Professional development speaker Jeff Haven says showing up alone is a candidate's first chance to show that they're independent. All of this from Men's Health. So I think it would be kind of interesting to have.
How would you know if the company was tolerant? Is the parent going to call them and say, is it okay if I come?
Just wondering if I should be maybe tagging along with
That's
Timmy.
Ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous. These kids have to learn to stand on their own.
They do. And like I said, I remember the interview that I brought you along. And it was very awkward to have my wife in the room while I'm talking about stuff. The whole time I'm like, oh, this is so weird. My wife is sitting right over there for a job interview. This is weird. It was weird. But this one here, you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. This is interesting. From China, a Chinese man claims his beer-drinking pet duck can understand him. The man takes his duck for a walk every day and claims that it will sit or fly on command. He feeds the duck mainly peanuts, but says it also enjoys seafood and, of course, beer.
I'm sure you could teach a duck to do those things if you can teach a dog, and
I think you could.
I think you could.
Why couldn't you? But
If he's had it since it was a little duckling and is,
but
rewards it for sitting and I'm sure that you
that's the
could
part of the
teach
story
it.
that you thought was interesting. To me, it was the beer drinking, the duck drinking beer is the part that I thought was kind of interesting, and eating peanuts and seafood. What do ducks usually eat?
I don't
Probably
know.
not peanuts and
I
seafood.
like beer and peanuts. I don't know why a duck wouldn't like beer and peanuts.
Well, they do. At least this one does in China. That's what he says. And the duck told him so. So there you go. Get your moment of duh on the way.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. A thief in Michigan once again proved that the people most responsible for catching criminals are typically criminals. A man who robbed a Saginaw, Michigan restaurant. I just like saying Saginaw.
Saginaw.
If you lived there, wouldn't you always be telling people, I'm from Saginaw?
Saginaw.
Just a fun thing to say. Anyway, he robbed a Saginaw, Michigan restaurant, and he failed to escape after he pushed with all of his might on a door that was clearly marked pull. According to police, the man eventually realized his mistake, but it was too late. They were already there. So he's pushing and pushing, thinking he's locked in. Meanwhile, all they had to do is pull, and he had walked away. Knucklehead. That's the kind of dumb things that, these criminals, they're not. If you're a criminal, I apologize. I'm not trying to be offensive or
Why
anything.
would you apologize
I'm
to a
just saying.
criminal? If you're a criminal, I'm sorry.
I'm
I
not
didn't
trying
mean
to be
to offend
offensive,
you.
but I've not met a lot of, brilliant criminals, because if you're brilliant, you don't need to be a criminal. You get a job doing something,
That's
legit.
right.
So, speaking of legit, we got to go to work with our scoop of the day. That is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Heidi, this is a pretty darn cool story here. I'm going to read you the headline. Man finds lotto ticket in car, becomes millionaire.
That's awesome.
How cool is that? A man in Newcastle, Australia, has become an instant millionaire after finding a winning lottery ticket while cleaning out his car. He had purchased the ticket at the start of last year, but only discovered that he won when he went online and checked the numbers after finding the ticket at the bottom of an old shopping bag in his car. So this dude has been a millionaire for a year and didn't even know it till he finally found this ticket that he almost lost.
Well, and at some point they expire.
Yeah.
So he's pretty lucky.
Very lucky. Pizza war broke out last week after the president of Iceland revealed that he would ban pineapple as a pizza topping if he could. The issue of pineapple on pizza now seems petty because some monster decided to top his perfectly good pizza with peas and mayo. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they're doing right now in Iceland. So you always wondered what they were up to in Iceland? Now you know. Speeder has bird on shoulder. That's the headline here. This is actually kind of funny. A German man was caught speeding. He was driving with a cockatoo on his shoulder. He said the pet bird was bored at home and wanted to take the bird for a ride.
Okay, then.
I don't know how fast he was going, but it sounds like he was going pretty darn fast. We don't really watch The Biggest Loser, but I know there are a lot of folks that do, and this is sad news. The host of The Biggest Loser...
Yeah, he had a heart attack.
Yeah, had a heart attack. So
I saw that online. I thought that was ironic.
Well, it's ironic, but it's also sad. YouTube viewership hits 1 billion hours of content a day. They've reached a remarkable milestone. People around the world are now watching 1 billion hours of YouTube content every day. Google bought YouTube in 2006, rather. How much do you think they spent for it? A little website like YouTube, Heidi.
Oh, billions, I'm assuming.
1.65 billion. For years, it was not a major contributor to Google's revenue. That changed now. YouTube's revenue last year, $10 billion. Yeah, they're doing okay. I don't think they're hurting. Whether you were a fan of Donald Trump or if you're not a fan of Donald Trump, there's a Donald Trump story that I have to read, and then I'm going to have my 2 cents, and I can't wait to see what Heidi says. But it says, what's the best way to prepare and serve a steak? If you said, well done with ketchup, then you probably voted for Donald Trump, according to this story. This is not an insult. This says here, the well-done steak lover is a very uncommon one, and a person who likes ketchup on their steak is even more rare, but Donald Trump likes his steak very well done with ketchup. So, and they say, if you like your steak well done with ketchup, you probably voted for him because steak minds eat alike. I did not know that. So
I think that's ridiculous. Just because you eat a certain way doesn't mean you vote a certain way. That's so stupid.
I think it's funny about the media. They're doing anything they can to try to knock this guy down a peg. They're like, what? He eats steak with ketchup and he cooks it too long?
My dad puts ketchup on his steak.
I don't do that. Your dad does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I don't put anything on steak because if it's a good steak,
I don't put anything on steak, and I like my steak so red inside that it's
sometimes too red,
almost still alive.
Yeah, pretty much. And our final story, I've got a video online that you got to see. If you've got a moment, you got to go check this out. A tech company named Boston Dynamics. They've introduced a new robot named Handle. Have you seen this thing? It's like Johnny Five on steroids.
I don't know.
Remember Johnny Five?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
What was that movie called? Short Circuit. Well, they've got a 6.5-foot tall robot that travels at 9 miles an hour, jumps 4 feet in the air vertically, uses electric power to operate both electric and hydraulic actuators with a range of about 15 miles on one battery charge. Handle is the name of him, and he has 10 actuated joints, has both wheels and legs, allowing it to go almost anywhere. And I've got a video of this on our Facebook page because it's amazing. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. I know it's only March, but there are people that are already filing their taxes and people are already getting their taxes back. I'm not one of those people, but I know there are a lot of people that have taxes on their mind because coming up the middle of next month, it's tax day, and tax day is one of the most stressful days of the year. We're going to try to make it a little less stressful by giving you some knowledge and some info. I've got a tax professional on the line, a name that's kind of synonymous with taxes, H&R Block. We've got Meg Sutton, and she's from their Kansas City office, like from the headquarters, and we're going to visit with her about taxes and get some real cool info to make it a little less stressful for us. So, Meg, welcome to the program. How you doing?
Hi, good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Very good. We're glad to have you on the program. Now, if people are afraid of the tax man, they're always afraid because, oh, man, I don't want to do something wrong. They don't need to be so afraid. They just need to make sure they pay attention and follow the rules, right?
Absolutely. And there are things that you can do, and understanding what the common mistakes are really helps you out when filing your return. So there are 3 common mistakes that people make. And the first is choosing the wrong filing status. For example, if you're a single mom and you have a child, you could be claiming head of household and save yourself hundreds of dollars on your tax bill.
Nice.
Second is not itemizing when you can. So we know about 1/3 of all filers itemize on their return, but millions more should do this to save money. And then finally, not claiming certain deductions and credits that you qualify for. So let's say that you gave to charity last year. Make sure you find that receipt and bring that in when you get your taxes done so that you can save additional money that way as well.
You were just talking about bringing in a receipt. That's what we would call a deduction. There's a lot of things that get overlooked when it comes to tax breaks and deductions that people could be missing out on, aren't there?
There are. But the good news is that H&R Block is here to help ensure that you get all the money that you're owed. And this year we have an exclusive partnership with IBM Watson where we bring to life many of these tax breaks for you as our client. So, for example, there are 10 million Americans who are part of what is called the sandwich generation. And this is where they're taking care of their aging parents as well as their kids. And in many cases, they can claim both as a dependence on their return. And this will get you extra tax breaks. There are also education breaks that people don't claim. And anyone who's out there getting their degree and is in the first 4 years of college could qualify for the American Opportunity Credit, which will lead to more money back on their return. Also, if you are eligible for EITC, so 1 in 5 taxpayers who are eligible don't claim the EIC, and this could be worth thousands to low and middle income families.
That's just crazy. And there's so many people that they don't even know that. They just fill out some simple form and think, okay, that wasn't so bad. I'm reading the info. It says 56% of Americans admit that tax time stresses them out. 18% say it really stresses them out. You don't need to stress. You just need to make sure you've got people helping you that know what they're doing, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, if you went to an ATM and you put in that you wanted $100 and you only got $70 back, you would go and bang on the bank's window and make sure that you got that extra money back. And that's what we need to do as tax filers to make sure that we get all of our money back.
That's a great way of looking at it. Well, Meg, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us today. I appreciate it. I know you got a lot of people to talk to this time of year because there are a lot of people that have tax questions, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. But we're here to help. Visit us at h-r-block.com for more information.
Awesome. Again, Meg Sutton, and she's with H&R Block. And you're in the Kansas City office. Is that like the headquarters there?
I am, yes.
Well, fantastic. Thank you again for taking the time to chat with us.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Again, our guest today has been Meg Sutton. She is with H&R Block. And whether you work with somebody like H&R Block or if you have your own tax professional you work with, that's cool too. Just make sure that you've got somebody in your corner to help you out because you don't want to be the person that, goes up against the IRS all by yourself. That would be a bad idea. And if you've got the abilities and the skills to do that, that's fantastic. I don't. I'm not gonna be the one trying to fill out my taxes and try to figure out how to make all of that work. But we've got a lot of great answers from Meg today. So again, a big thank you to Meg and to the folks at H&R Block for helping us out with that. And I was reading here, it says, according to NerdWallet, 80% of millennials admit to real fear when it comes to filing taxes. That is crazy. And Zogby International poll found that tax day is one of the most stressful days of the year. Don't get stressed out. Just make sure you know what you're doing. And like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, make sure you've got somebody in your corner that does, whoever that may be. Thank you again for joining us on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Many people go to college, but when they graduate, they've racked up a ton of debt. Not everyone, though. Matthew Einstone saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then, after everyone wanted to know how he did it, he built a system to show you how to do it, too. Learn how you can use his system for yourself or for your kids. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Watch a few videos there for free. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. That's freeeducationuniversity.com. Use promo code radio20 to save 20%.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
At one time, Thomas Edison obtained an average of 1 patent every 5 days for his new inventions.
I think we've talked about that
I think
before.
we might have as well. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A rhubarb is actually a vegetable, not a fruit.
Oh, I didn't know that. I love rhubarb.
And it says it was changed to a fruit in 1947 by a U.S. Customs Court who has no control over whether something is botanically a vegetable or a fruit. So we call it a fruit when it's really not a fruit. A rhubarb is a vegetable. So now we know. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Harrison Ford, have you ever noticed he has a scar on his face?
No.
He has a scar on his face. It was caused by an injury from a car accident. I know what you were thinking. It was from a plane crash. No. He was crashing cars way before he was crashing planes. And he just recently landed on the wrong runway, too. So
Yeah.
we probably shouldn't joke
Poor
about
guy.
that. Who knows? what he's up to this weekend. We may maybe just be careful. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
More water flows over Niagara Falls every year than over any other waterfall on Earth. So there you go. A couple of fun facts for you this weekend.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottalicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to radiolottopool.com and join today. Again, that website is radiolottopool.com.
John and Heidi.
I have a list of bad habits to avoid at the office. You ready for this?
Okay.
This is from Career Builder. They say that these things can harm your career, so be careful. These are the reasons people get fired. So if you don't want to get fired, don't cough on the air. That's what
Sorry.
you don't. No, that's not on the list. I just thought I would, use that perfect timing to scold my wife. No, bad habit number 1 is missing deadlines. So if they say, hey, we need this done by Friday, you best have it done by Friday. Mm-hmm. Bad habit number 2 is dressing unprofessionally. Whatever the dress is for that office, that's the way you should dress. Mm-hmm. Bad habit number 3 is not being punctual, so showing up late. Everybody else is here at 8. Why do you show up at 8:15? Another bad habit, checking your email, playing games, and shopping. These are all bad habits, like if you're shopping online instead of working. Next is gossiping, talking to others about things that you don't need to be talking about. Another bad habit that could help you lose your job, being negative. Everybody complains once in a while, but if you're always complaining, that's not so good. And the final bad habit on here is trying to be everybody's best friend. You don't have to do that. You can be sociable, but you don't have to be, like everybody's best friend and always need to, have this need to be everybody's buddy.
You should strive to be everybody's enemy.
No, you shouldn't do that either. So I'm going to go back through these because that was all of them. And I just want to say, missing deadlines. Yeah, I'm not good at deadlines. Dressing unprofessionally. Look at me. I'm a mess. Not being punctual. Barely on time for anything. Checking email. I'm always doing that. Playing games. No, I don't have time for that. Shopping. Don't have time for that. So, hey, there's 2 things I don't do. Gossiping. I don't. But you know who does? I got a story here about a guy. Oh, can I not talk about that? That's gossiping. Being negative. I'm usually pretty positive, but there's a couple of things lately that I've been so negative about, and I gotta just get over it and quit being negative. And the last one, trying to be everybody's friend, I can't help it. I love everybody.
You don't love everybody.
This list is like talking directly to me. I'm probably going to get fired, Heidi. It's according to these guys. I hope not. I kind of like what I do around here. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Hey, it's John and Heidi inviting you to join us for a party in paradise.
This is a week-long event with 80s music from over a dozen awesome bands.
And 80s movie and TV icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
We'll even get together to have some drinks with you.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
That's 80sinthesand.com.
Those who pray together, stay together. Take a listen to this. The amount of time you spend praying to God depends on where you live. So this is a thing that kind of depends on, according to researchers, they discovered a marked difference between East and West during global surveys to determine religious fervor. 65% of people in the Philippines, Malaysia, and India say they pray daily, while 65% of respondents from Czech Republic, France, Spain, and England say they never pray at all. The numbers climbed dramatically upward once more when Americans were polled, and 55% of Americans pray daily. So again, 60% daily in some areas, 55% in America. And then a weird thing was 65% in those other countries that say they never, ever, ever pray. So it kind of depends on where you're at, whether that's normal or common or whatnot. So do you think you pray daily, Heidi?
Yes.
I do. I know I do. And most of my prayers are prayers of thanks because I feel very fortunate for all the wonderful things in my life. So thanks for that.
John and Heidi.
Next time you're at a meeting and you've got people that are just grumpy and frumpy and they're not in a good mood, if you want to cheer them up, make them sing. I don't know
about that.
If this is going to work, but this is what they say. A weird but proven team builder for a group, sing. Research reveals that group singing is a great way to build bonds. The magic is the common goal, the physical exertion, and everybody being in sync. Not the band in sync, by the way, just being in sync with each other.
You could make them sing in sync.
There you go. In a recent study from the Royal Society Open Science, they had people stand in a circle without sheet music so they'd have better eye contact, and they would sing a lot of different things from tribal chants to pop songs. And they say if there's people that are grumpy and they don't want to sing, then just change it up and sing something like Journey's Don't Stop Believin'. Or
Everybody sings that.
Yeah. Or Sweet Caroline. There's a bunch of songs that no matter what you do, people are going to sing along with it. So that's what you're supposed to do at your next meeting where people are being grumpy. And then get back to me and let me know how that goes. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Many people go to college, but when they graduate, they've racked up a ton of debt. Not everyone, though. Matthew Einstein saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then, after everyone wanted to know how he did it, he built a system to show you how to do it too. Learn how you can use this system for yourself or for your kids. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. That's freeeducationuniversity.com. Use promo code RADIO20 to save 20%.
John and Heidi.
We recently talked about how important it is to drink plenty of water. Remember that?
Yes.
Just not too long ago. Well, they say, that drinking plenty of water is critical for health. Now, a new study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirms something you may have already suspected as well. When you suffer from even a minor bit of dehydration, something most guys wake up with, you're more likely to lack focus and attention. Your memory can suffer too. You might even be more prone to anxiety. In other words, your brain pays the price for your dehydration. And according to another study, could be due to a drop in blood flow. They suggest that you can stave off dehydration by drinking at least 8 ounces of water when you wake up in the morning, and then have a glass with each meal and take 2 glasses after a workout. So all of that from our friends at Men's Health. I don't think I drink nearly enough water. I try to drink water. I can tell you an interesting story. The other day, I had this really weird dream. I was laying there sleeping, and I had a dream that our dogs were drinking out of my glass in the bathroom. And then I realized that I was not sleeping. My wife, yes, this wonderful woman that sits next to me here, the dogs, they sleep in our room with us, and they were thirsty. So she goes in my bathroom, our bathroom, fills up my glass with water while I'm sleeping, she thinks, and lets the dogs lap out of it.
I was going to wash it in the morning.
You put it right back in there. I walked in there in the morning, and I acted like I drank out of it. And you didn't say a word, because I wanted to see if you'd say something. I was like, I'm not drinking out of that, by the way. I caught you red-handed. Putting a bunch of dog germs in my glass. So, thanks, Heidi. So drink a lot of water. Just don't drink dog water. A little tip from Uncle John.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news. You ready for some good news?
I'm always ready for some good news.
I think it's time for some good news. This is actually kind of a neat story. A Kenyan couple, so a couple over in Kenya, they spent just $1 on their wedding, and they've renewed their vows in a lavish Valentine's Day ceremony funded by well-wishers. News of their $1 budget wedding from last month went viral on social media, and many Kenyans offered to help. At their first wedding, Wilson and Ann Murta wore jeans and T-shirts, and 2 steel circles served as rings. Kenya media estimated their second wedding party cost. Now, the first one was $1. Guess how much went into their second wedding?
I have no idea.
$35,000.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, because they had a lot of people that said, you know what, you guys deserve a nicer, fancier, fabulous wedding. $35,000. It was at an upmarket venue in the capital of Nairobi. And I've got a link if you want to see all the details on this. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. How much did our wedding cost?
Well, it was, I think total was $200.
Yeah, so We didn't do the big lavish thing. We went to Jamaica on vacation.
It would have cost way more than that if I hadn't been a travel agent at the time.
So did that cover the travel and everything?
It covered, yeah. I mean,
Are you serious?
we spent a total of $200 to
I
get there, for the hotel, for the whole bit.
Wow, you should be a travel agent again.
I know,
what are you
right?
doing working here? We haven't been on a vacation since you quit being a travel agent.
We haven't either.
Oh, that was pretty cool. We go on these fam trips, the familiarization trips or
I
whatever.
don't know that they do those so much anymore, though.
It was neat. Anyway, we didn't have a lavish wedding because we said instead of spending all of our effort on having a nice wedding, we're going to spend our effort on having a nice marriage. And that's worked out really well. 17 years later, and I'm as happy as I was the day that I met you. So, okay, happier than that, because the day that I met you was kind of miserable. But I'm as happy as I was the day that you said I do. How's that? Is that better? You just gave me a dirty look on that first one.
You're just so corny.
All right, time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. If you want to learn about this other fancy wedding, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.